So far, many of the president's closest supporters, real supporters, say he will definitely run for re-election. But another new poll shows he would lose in a hypothetical matchup with Donald Trump and monkeypox. So will the president get the hint? And could a red wave in November easily wipe him off the map? Here with me now, Fox News chief political anchor. He's the host of Special Report on the Fox News channel. Bret Baier is back. Welcome back, Bret.
Hey, Kennedy.
I get so nervous when you're here. I feel like I need to have manners and good behavior and remember all the things. So the voices are getting louder. The Washington Post screaming in this op-ed. What does critical mass look like in terms of a real revolt within the Democrat Party and the media establishment to get Joe Biden not to commit to running again?
We're getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very close. It really is. When the Washington Post op-ed says that the sitting Democratic president should quit to save the midterms, to say it's just say you're going to have one term and spend all of your energy and time fighting for the things that matter for America, that is quite something. I mean, we've seen a ton of articles about unnamed, unattributed quotes from Democratic members and National Committee members. But this is essentially the Washington Post establishment saying that. I think you're getting to critical mass. I also think that it's pretty telling that the president's out insisting that this is not a recession. We're not going into recession. And all of his people are out on shows saying what the definition of recession is as we get ready for these GDP numbers this week.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit with Jonathan Hoenig, because we are changing definitions every single day. And things really have gotten so strange that if the president did in fact announce before the midterms that he wouldn't run again, there would be this massive jockeying to take his place. One of those people obviously would be what should be his natural successor, Vice President Kamala Harris. The New York Times now making the case that the vice president should be more like Richard Nixon. Was that a head scratcher for you?
Out and about, going to different places. It was a bit of a head scratcher, but she has been traveling a lot, giving a lot of speeches, and I'm not sure in the reception of all of those speeches in the past that that's a great thing for her. Republicans say, please travel to more places and give more speeches because they feel that it doesn't help the Democratic ticket. But yeah, her poll numbers are under President Biden in a lot of cases. And, you know, that is why you have different media outlets talking about Gavin Newsom in California and J.D. Pritzker in Illinois, which are, you know, compelling figures. However, you ask how those economies are doing or businesses that work in California and Illinois, and there are a lot of questions about how that blueprint is the right for the U.S.
I don't know that Republicans should be entirely nervous about a Gavin Newsom presidential bid, because there's a lot that he has done wrong in his state. And there are a lot of images that you could easily show the rest of the country as to why people are moving out of places like California and Illinois, because these are high-tax states. Gavin Newsom has squandered the surplus in that state. Homelessness continues to absolutely explode.
Yeah.
Crime, yeah. I mean, you name it. That's not the direction a lot of people in this country want to go in. But, you know, it's like, what does a matchup between Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris look like in terms of being Biden's successor? Does he elbow her out of the way?
I think it's fascinating to think about, and if you think about the possibility of challengers to former President Trump, should he announce for president, I mean, you could have a cast of thousands on both sides,
yes.
Which in our business is, you know, fine, because it's an interesting race. But you could have a lot of people get in who we don't even think are in the running, who, you know, as we saw in 2016, there could be a lot of people at the table.
Yes, like Carrot Top and Whoopi Goldberg. It's only going to get more fascinating, and that would be the least insane option that we have before us. Bret Baier, thank you so much.
You bet.
Oh, it's good to talk to you. Thank you.